News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, Vinny back in, and we'll get to the news. And right before we get to the news, we'll talk a little holiday eat and drinks with Vinny. People like to drink during the holidays.
Yes, they do.
Let's do this. I did research this a little bit, and you tell me, but you coach as we go. You know, we all know the do this distilled stuff versus the beer and the red wine. But I think I was looking some stuff up, and I felt like a brut or a dry champagne seemed to rank pretty good in the carb department as well. What thoughts on white wine, champagne? Because there's some people, especially a lot of ladies, they just don't want a scotch at 4 p.m. walking around the house.
Right,
but they want a drink, but they don't want a daiquiri or something. How about the champagne?
If it's dry, whether it's wine, champagne is wine with bubbles. So the drier the champagne, the drier the wine, whether it's red or white, it doesn't matter, the fewer sugars you're going to have in it. Same goes with sherries. You know, you can throw sherries into that category.
But red wine in general has a little more than white wine?
There's so many different varietals.
Yeah, there's so much out there that you can't make that distinction.
Well, you take the 3 most popular red wines and you take the 3 most popular white wines, and then you go, which ones have higher carbs?
It's going to be just, because wine comes down to taste. Right, you might like something drier. I
know,
something
but there's
with
like
more...
3 popular in both departments. You know what I'm saying?
You're pretty much equal. You can go in either direction.
I did a fair amount of research on this too when I was starting doing the NSNG stuff a year ago, and like your Cabernets and your Merlots, as I recall, are pretty low in residual sugar because those are drier wines, much like the brut champagnes you mentioned. They're actually, you think champagne, sweet, bubbly. No, the brut champagnes. You look for it on the label, it says brut.
Right.
Those are going to be lower in residual sugar.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is you're going to go to a holiday party.
Right.
There's going to be a bottle of red out and a bottle of white out. You're going to choose, on average, should you squeeze the trigger on the white? Because when I looked it up, it seemed like the whites came in lower on average.
Yeah, but it's so minuscule.
Which you don't care, you're going to choose.
Okay, white.
Okay, there we go.
In general.
Always takes a while. We got there.
I get there.
Well, I don't know, Max Pat. I'll look it up. But
I'm looking up. It is pretty dead even.
Is it dead even?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
It's like for 3.2 versus 3.8.
Yeah, everyone is just like, just go dry. Just go dry. That's the only real difference.
Right, but
otherwise it's
the red doesn't average higher. I mean, 2%, a half a percentage point,
but are
or
we
whatever.
talking? When you say 3 pie, are we talking Petrus or are we talking?
We don't know because we went to we're going to a party.
Right. So you don't know, and the bottom line is it comes down to you can almost taste. Sometimes you'll grab a white wine and you can almost taste the sugar
sweetness.
But as Chris said, it's so close. That's why I said.
But do the champagne. I think champagne in general is a little lower.
It is lower. And then, as Brian said, when you get the drier stuff, the brutes, then you're really getting into, cutting out.
Stay away from like Prosecco and things like that.
Prosecco, ports are always, because port is just wine mixed with something else with sugar.
No Gewürztraminers.
Yeah.
No, that's a sugary wine.
Don't know that one.
So there are different things.
If I were smarter, I'd be laughing my ass off right now.
But dry sherries are okay, even those,
And the distilled stuff, the whiskeys, the vodkas, the gin, they're all the same.
Yeah, just get your drink on.
Question about that for Vinny. Where's I know like Malibu rum is obviously, Captain Morgan's, that's loaded with sugar. Where's the cutoff? Like what's on the good side of distilled zero, like, gin and vodka and whiskey, and what's on the bad side? Obviously, your sugary, cucumber vodka.
Most of your real rums are okay. It's distilled. But it's all of these brands now are because now they have to sell to millennials. They have to sell to
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey.
Birthday cake.
Right.
Birthday
candy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anything with a flavor, I think, is off.
Bad news.
Or out. And now they have these whole new piles of vodka drinks that
Truly,
have
White Claw.
they have like 100 calories in them.
Oh yeah, talk about that because those are popular.
About those.
Those are very popular.
If it's the old stuff, like Absolute used to have like a lemon zest to it. right? Or now they're putting sugar.
We're not talking about
This
that.
is basically like alcoholic LaCroix.
Do you know what we're talking about? The White Claw. It's very
Everybody
popular.
keeps asking me about the White Claw, and on
It's like
paper,
soda water with flavor, like the LaCroix,
Right.
with vodka.
I'm always scared of those things. And by the way, who's drinking that crap?
Everyone.
The youngins.
A lot of
I know
people.
everyone
Chris.
keeps asking me about
They're
this.
delicious.
Chris, do you have the breakdown on the White Claw?
I think there's some
Let me
in
go-
the,
let me go check.
Isn't there some in the fridge? He's
Ooh,
going to
grab
look
one.
at the
There's
fridge.
raspberry, mango, black cherry,
Can
lime,
I crack one here
grapefruit.
and taste it? I've never tasted one.
They are refreshing.
Are you serious?
They are.
It's like flavored sparkling.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
basically, I think what they're doing is in a world where people are trying to back off the carbs, instead of drinking a 12-ounce, 5% alcohol beer,
Right.
you drink a 12-ounce, 5% alcohol this.
Yeah, they're calling it spiked sparkling water.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm going to taste one and see what's written on the back in a few minutes.
I think they got about 100 calories a can. I don't know if that's from the alcohol or from the sweetener, but I think there is some sugar in there. I
I'm
remember
gonna check
looking
it
at
out.
it.
Yeah, Howie Mandel told me, never drink when you're broadcasting. And then he came back one day and said, I was broadcasting with Adam Carolla. Have you ever heard of something called Mangria? And I said, Howie, you're talking about sangria. He goes, no.
Oh, he brings in
Mangria.
a open case.
He was smashed on stage.
Did he?
I have. I really could be sued for what I did to him or what he did to himself.
Was that when we did
Canyon Club?
Yeah, Canyon Club.
No. He was
Yeah.
at your house because
He's been in my house drunk.
he
but
literally told me that
He might have thought he was in
he
your
said
house.
that John Popper gave him a harmonica and he lost it. That's how drunk he was.
Well, ask him if he at my house if I had 381 of my closest friends there and they were
They
serving
were laughing
nachos
laughing at her jokes.
and I had
There's
a
a
large
bar
staff.
back.
Vinny, crack one of those.
Well, but let me tell you what's in it. You want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, so blah, 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 water, blah, 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 carbonated, alcohol, cane sugar. Mm-hmm. Probably
We're
came
out.
straight from where I grew up. Maybe my own family did it.
Right.
A bunch of cane farmers.
It's 100 calories per can, a 12-ounce can.
It says here 0 calories, 2 carbs. I don't know how to get away with
All
that.
right.
All
All right, everyone hunker in for the long haul.
Yeah.
Better than a beer?
No.
No.
Well, let me taste it first.
Well, no. You're looking, it's got 100
health
calories.
reasons.
On the NSNG
carbs,
scale.
Better than a beer.
Carb-wise?
Better than
Better
a beer.
than a
Vinny,
beer.
Please, Vinny, just better
Yes,
than a beer.
I said better than a beer.
Okay.
I'm going to need this whole fucking can just to get through this podcast.
It took a while. Okay, it's better than a beer.
All right.
Okay.
There he goes. Takes
It
a
smells
sniff.
like medicine.
Let's take a sip.
Raspberry?
Cherry, I think.
It's horrible.
Cherry
Horrible.
flavored
There's
things
nothing
are always
good.
bad.
Gina, taste
Let me
this
double
crap.
check. Let me
I
double check
disagree.
for you.
I like cherry flavored things.
I hate grape
Adam,
and cherry
taste
make
that
me
crap.
think of
Grape
children's
is the
medicine.
weirdest flavor ever
Agreed.
because they synthesize it and it's
Yes.
weird and it's never
It doesn't
right.
taste like a grape.
It's not a grape flavor.
Okay, I still have an aftertaste in my mouth.
Me too. It's cherry and grape are very medicine-y.
Yeah, well, this one didn't work out. Look, the reality is you want it to taste good, you need more calories. It doesn't
And
have
if
enough
you're going
calories
to drink
to taste
alcohol,
good.
drink alcohol. What are you doing here?
If you
drink
are
vodka. That
if you
is
are
crap.
devastatingly hungover, but you gotta plow through.
Hair of the dog.
Those are awesome.
Okay, well,
Five
They're
Jack
good
in
on
the
the
Box
cruise.
tacos.
It tastes
There's
like
a
a Jolly,
use.
tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Like a light Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
I feel
All right.
like I need shit in my mouth just to get that taste out.
Give that drop for me, guys.
All right. They're sponsors, so Vinny, if we could just... No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. All right, Gina, let's do some news.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with the PGA golfer Tommy Two Gloves Gainey, but a lot more people outside of golf
Cousin
will-
Danny Two Sheets.
Exactly.
Nephew of Tommy Two-Tone,
Yes.
who's seen the... I got
867
number, yeah.
He's among 100 people arrested over a 6-day sex crime sting in Florida, according to CNN. And the name of the sting is fantastic. So 44-year-old Gainey was charged with soliciting a prostitute, which is a misdemeanor in Florida. He was released on $500 bond. The undercover operation into this ring for prostitution, human trafficking, child predators began on December 3rd. It's called Operation Santa's Naughty List. How
Good.
do you say that with a straight face when
Good.
you're working on this? 53
Still crossed by a
people-
hurricane, but it's pretty
Right.
good.
And Operation Fast and Furious. 53 people were charged with prostitution. 7 men were arrested for preying on children. 5 traveled with intent to sexually harm a child. Probably teen prostitutes, I would imagine. Gainey called Two Gloves I bet you'll never guess. He wears 2 gloves while he's golfing. He was in town for a charity event. I don't think he made it.
Speaking of Danny 2 sheets, I had somebody tweet me that when I said you can have, what are you going to do with 3 sheets? They said, oh, no, you can go with like 5 sheets. You put the fitted sheets over each other.
Interesting.
Why?
And then when one gets dirty, you just peel it off. And I was like, I do that with condoms, but I didn't know you could do that with
Same
sheets.
principle. Same
Depends on
principle.
the thread count. It still might not be
Of
sanitary.
the condom?
Yeah, well, Vinny knows when you see a lot of motorcycle racing
Yeah, they
from back
rip
in
it
the
off.
day, and they have the goggles that have the extra clear taped on. They just rip
Right.
it off.
Rip it off,
I do
yeah,
that.
of course.
I do that in the bedroom. I just rip one off, go to the next customer, lady, fan,
Encounter?
groupie,
Somebody help me.
nanny. God damn it! I can't come up with the right district selectman.
Focus.
Shit.
Focus.
I think, what is it, victim participant?
Participant.
Willing participant.
Willing participant.
Consenting participant.
That's what I wanted.
By the way, Chris just put the tweet up there for us to see. At least we know 100% that you wrote this tweet.
Yes.
Because condoms is spelled
That's
wrong.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
So speaking of Danny's...
That's what everyone's number. I misspell everything, and everyone's number one thing is we know that Adam wrote this.
It's
But then
authentic.
there's now speculation that I have smart people who work for me who are scrambling and misspelling words to come across to authenticate
Yeah.
to be like me.
Condom with a comedy
I'm not
K.
making a joke. Trump's staff does that. That was a story that they intentionally misspell.
It
Oh, there you go.
It makes sense. We caught the devil dog or whatever his
That's
name is at
Death Dog.
Death Dog. We caught Death Dog at KLSX, who was on the board, the fan board, talking shit about our morning show the whole time. This is a bad sign. The reason we caught you is because you misspelled so many things, and also he worked for us, running like the fan or the website, and he misspelled everything on the website.
I remember from the book Helter Skelter, Vincent Bugliosi fingered one of the girls, from Manson's family because Helter Skelter was misspelled on the wall in blood. It was Heal, and she wrote it down in the courtroom on a notepad. Heal.
Oh, really?
I got chills.
Inadmissible.
Wow.
They wouldn't let him admit it. He nailed her anyway.
Wow.
Why is it? I don't get why everything's
I don't know.
inadmissible.
I really don't know.
If only you knew a high-powered attorney that could
Hey,
solve
Chris.
that.
He's busy.
Go ahead.
So speaking of Danny's, some sad news, and maybe a day or two old at this point, but that's okay. Danny Aiello, veteran actor who appeared in more than 70 films, including Do the Right Thing, Godfather Part 2, Moonstruck. He has passed away. He was 86.
He was so great in Moonstruck.
He was amazing. According to
86.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Do the Right Thing, that's the first thing I've ever seen him in. According to his family, he passed away Thursday night at a New Jersey hospital where he was treated for a sudden illness. That's all we know right now. New York native broke into movies in 1973 when he landed a small role in Bang the Drum Slowly. He went on to appear...
De Niro, right?
About a baseball player who died?
Yeah, I think it was Lou Gehrig, I think.
No, it was a different
It
player.
wasn't Lou Gehrig.
Different player, but he was a Yankee.
But for the Yankees, yeah, for the Yankees.
He was a Yankee, and it
Henry
was
Wiggin.
and it was De Niro.
And De Niro's Bruce Pearson.
Oh,
Okay.
There you go. Bang the drum slowly.
And like I said, Godfather 2, Once Upon a Time in America, Radio Days, my favorite Woody Allen movie, Harlem Nights, Moonstruck, so many more. But his most memorable role for most people was as Sal, the pizza shop owner in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, for which he did receive an Oscar nom. He also appeared in several Broadway productions. He's survived by his wife and 3 kids.
So Bang the Drum Slowly was about a Yankee who died of a disease, but like in the 60s or something, or he died of a disease.
Yeah,
a young
never
guy
saw it.
died of a disease. It's kind of a classic.
I'm familiar
guess.
with it, of course.
And
I've
it
never-
stars, I guess De Niro must have been 29 when he was in that
That
movie.
was before Godfather 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang the Drum Slowly, a 99-cent rental on Amazon and Apple Movies.
What year is that? Early 70s?
73, I think.
73?
I think it's
Not about right.
73.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Paul Newman played the pitcher in Bang the Drum Slowly?
In a TV episode of the United States Steel Hour. So that was actually the first media adaptation of the
wow.
novel.
Okay. The New York Giants announced Friday that they waived injured cornerback Janoris Jenkins 2 days after he used an insensitive term in a tweet to a fan. On Wednesday, when a fan questioned why Jenkins' statistical output hadn't led to more wins for the Giants, the 31-year-old corner responded in a tweet saying he can only do his job, and then referred to the guy as a retard. Giants, they are not fans.
Athletes cannot be held to the same standard.
Oh, that is incorrect.
They cannot. These guys aren't CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. These guys grew up in the street, man. I mean, playing out in the street.
For a living.
They hit people for a living.
Head trauma.
They just come from a world where people talk to each other in a totally different way than how we talk to.
I wonder if you can get a wrongful
termination lawsuit. I was like, I have CTE, man.
Exactly.
I would
can't be held accountable.
All right, we can all agree that rappers get to use the N-word and we don't,
how?
right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a horrible word. Okay, that's the worst word, right? They
Yes.
get to use it. How come?
Their word.
Their word. They're grandfathered in. They own it. I'm saying it's the same way on the internet with any swearing.
So
you
you're
can't
calling
take
this guy a retard?
You can't take cornerbacks. You can't take skill position guys unless they're playing quarterback.
But it's a bigger problem. We've taken all of it just way too far. I was trying to explain to someone a while back. I said, before the N-word was the N-word, it was used all the time. And
Vinny, please.
But here's the crazy thing. I was telling this to a friend. He goes, "All right, name a movie where it was used." And I started thinking about it. And of course, everyone goes, "Well, Blazing Saddles." But the Bad News Bears. I bring up this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The Bad News
I
Bears.
do not remember
Might be
that.
rated PG, too.
And by the way, Chris, if you could pull up it's the trailer of the Bad News Bears. They use it. They use Jews.
Well,
yeah.
everybody knows that's a bad
There's
word.
like a bunch of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way
Talking
he
about
said,
the ragtag group.
And girls. I mean, all of
This
it now
is-
is off the table. And this was 1976.
Yeah, this is Richard Pryor had a title. What is it called? Bicentennial Nigger was the name of his album. That's the name of his comedy album. You guys know that?
I think it's come up before on this show.
Yeah, that was the name of the album.
Wow.
I mean, that's like for commercial. That was at Licorice Pizza.
How do you do junkets for that?
How
How do you introduce your guest?
I don't.
I told you there was a Richard Pryor sketch on SNL like in the first couple of years.
Honky.
The punchline was
right.
the N-word.
Right. All right.
Chukka.
Sorry.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Well, we have it. Sorry.
Boys, I'd like you to meet your new pitcher, Amanda Wurlitzer.
Jews fixed niggers and now a girl? Rabbit that, punk.
Well, there
That's
you
the
go.
trailer.
Simpler
That is a
time.
children's
That's the trailer.
movie.
Simpler time. All right.
It's a movie for kids.
Okay, so anyway, he's gone. I'd love to let this go, but I can't because awesome things keep happening. So in her first televised interview, the actress who played the Peloton wife blames herself for all this controversy.
Saw that.
Refreshing.
Yeah, her name is Monica Ruiz.
Well,
and
she blames her eyebrows.
Yes, she does. We'll get to that in a second. She hit the Today Show to talk about the ad, which has gone viral, of course, we all know. In the commercial, she plays a woman who's gifted the exercise bike, and, everyone's calling it sexist, and it was just a huge to-do in the last couple weeks. So at first, she said she was hesitant to do any press about this controversy, but decided to come forward after some outlets had published pieces of old interviews and just inaccurate. So she does blame herself.
Yeah,
Here's
actually,
how...
Gabe told me he blamed her too.
Oh,
yeah.
was that part of it?
I didn't say it was totally out of context.
I didn't
know what
realize
that
that.
was.
Oh, well,
yeah,
it's on the sword.
He blames her.
Okay,
as well.
well-
So there's a consensus.
Everybody
is what I'm
blames her.
saying.
Here's how she explains to the Today Show host Hoda Kotb that it's her fault.
I mean, honestly, I think it was just my face. Like,
What do you mean?
it was my fault. My eyebrows looked like worried, I guess.
I don't know.
People
There's
were
a
like,
picture
"She looks
behind me,
scared."
y'all. That's the one that she says is at the heart of this whole thing.
I'm telling you, it was my face. That was the problem. And then it just went, exploded from there. She looks worried. And I'm like, oh, no, my eyebrows.
They moved.
They moved.
So I guess a lot of people have Botox and stuff and their eyebrows stay
We're
straight.
not used to seeing it anymore. It's too much.
All right, we go. We'll get back to impeachment and ethnic cleansing in Rwanda right after this.
Right after this.
All right. Well, if we
that
solve the
baby
riddle
to
of
bed.
this, yeah.
Very curious if you've heard of this, Adam, or if it has come up on Ace on the House, because, oh my God, this is a game changer. A giant 3D printer built 2 houses in an impoverished rural part of Mexico last week, breaking ground on what will be the first 3D printed neighborhood in the world. The houses aren't just a prototype. Developers hope to build at least 50 by the end of this year. The families live in a seismic zone that's prone to flooding in the state of Tabasco, Mexico. And building something that will withstand these earthquakes, and of course there's earthquake reinforcement in it too. This is a 33-foot printer, pipes out a concrete mix that hardens when it dries. Building walls one layer at a time. It takes about 24 hours over several days to build 2 houses, but that is 2 times faster than the company that's doing it builds a regular house. They say even the concrete mix is sturdier than traditional concrete, and it's a 500 square foot home, so not palatial, but it does have 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen. Did you know about this?
I'd heard some about this, and there's this whole prefab world. This isn't that, but this notion of building houses by dropping off a pile of wood. I mean, if you think about it, even when you're in a really nice and expensive neighborhood and they're building a big, nice and expensive home, they just bring over a pile of wood.
Yeah.
And the flatbed truck drops off a pile of wood.
That's right.
There's, oriented strand board and paralams and glue lamb beams and stuff, like a little technology, but it's just a bunch of wood from the forest that's been milled, put down. I mean, Little House on the Prairie style. The guy worked at a lumber mill,
Things haven't changed
They
much.
pile it up and a bunch of dudes work on it and they cut it to shape. And it seems like, imagine building a car that way. Here's just a pile of metal. Like, here you go. Like, no, start cranking this stuff out. Start making prefab stuff. And you build this stuff outside, and it's exposed to the conditions. So I have 2 thoughts on this. One, I took my dog for a walk after...
He took you for a walk.
That's true.
Honest.
The day after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving was Thursday, obviously, and then Friday I took the dog for a walk. When I walked by the big house that was being worked on, guess what? There were 10 dudes working on it. And the reason there's 10 dudes working the morning after Thanksgiving is because those dudes don't get paid when they don't work, because I used to do that, and those were the things. Like, we'd go half day before Christmas off, and then right back. Right. Because everyone needed to get paid. So, I thought about those guys and how I used to live that life. Like, they're all working the day after. There ain't no 4-day weekend coming for them. Also, think about it. The house is a pile of wood. The wood's not synthetic, made of anything. It's just wood. It's just wood. And then it sits there. And it takes weeks, months before the thing is closed up. It's got the shear wall, it's got the beams, it's open, it's whatever. It's rained 5 times since then. You'll see like rust coming down the side of the nails when they nail the shear wall off and the nailing schedule and blah, blah, blah. You'll see sometimes there's snafus, money, bank, whatever, financing. Sometimes you'll see those things sitting out there for a year and a half, just getting rained on. The wood's getting soaked with water, then it's drying out, mildew,
animals,
whatever, squirrels in there, whatever. Then eventually it gets a roof and some stucco, and it's now closed, and it's a $5 million house that some rich family moves into. But wouldn't you like it better if your panels were made in an enclosed area?
Like that.
Like the walls were sealed up, not just open and everything. And like I said, there's mold growing in the wall before you put this stupid thing in there. It's sitting out in the rain. It's a bunch of plywood. Oriented strand board, OSB, and plywood don't do well in the rain. It's kind of like putting a soda cracker out in the rain. It doesn't explode. It's good for a few days, but you wouldn't want wet plywood sitting.
I would imagine it doesn't even need rain. Like, to wake up here in Southern California, there's dew everywhere. Sprinklers and dew. It's just wet.
Right.
How is that not a safety hazard that people take more seriously?
It's just that we've done it this way for 500 years, and that's just the way it's done. There's a few new pieces of hardwares and straps and a little technology. Now, once the house is done, then all the technology comes in, all the video systems and all the Cat 6 and the blah, blah, blah. But the house is just built the same way a house was built in the 20s.
A log cabin. But the bones have mildew.
Well, I'm not a weirdo with that, but my feeling is would you want your plywood, your house, the house is skinned with plywood because everything's shear walled out here. It's called shear walling, and the roof is shear. Would you want it to sit out for 4 months after it rained 10 times, and then they come in and go over it with drywall and stucco and everything else? Or would you rather have it built inside a hangar and then dropped off on one day with a crane and assembled and closed up?
But aren't we losing a step when we do that? Because we're house shopping right now, and we're looking at, sometimes we'll see things built in the 80s. And that seems to, we're looking for an older house out in the countryside. Some of these houses were built in the 17 and 1800s. Mm-hmm. And when you get under them and you get in the attic and you see how it was done back then, man, it's just so much more. There's more feeling, more warmth to it, more everything.
More hauntings.
Who cares about that? I'm from New Orleans. You can't get it.
That's
true, yeah.
But the bottom line is, you look at some of these houses the way they used to be built, and you go, "Oh my God, look at this!" Now we're 3D printing them. I mean, where's the passion?
The romance is gone.
Where's the passion to the house?
I don't know. Where's the passion in a Porsche or an Audi? I mean, they're great cars, but I don't know who's building. I don't know if the people building them can afford them or have the passion. But you just get the best car you can get.
You do, but look, you have a warehouse of old cars. Why? Because there was some passion behind them. Some guy got there with a TIG welder.
My problem is I have torn apart so many old houses. I've torn apart so many houses from the early 20s, mid-20s. I've torn apart a lot of 20s style houses. Those old Irish fucks couldn't build for shit. I mean, everyone does it's so strong. It's also what gets me angry at all the new codes, because you tear apart a house from the 20s where, if you can picture this, you frame the wall with 2x4s going up, double top plate, 2x4 on the top, and then where the roof rafters go over the top of it, there's a toenail. There's just one nail on the side. There are no screws, straps, hold downs. There's no anything.
Right,
there's nails everywhere. Now everything has tons of straps and tons of metal and tons of everything. And the building department is going, you need more. And I'm like, I've torn apart houses that are 90 years old that are sitting exactly where they sat when they were built in 1923, and they didn't have anything. And they're just sitting there. Mm-hmm. They're not even bolted to the foundation. They're just sitting. Everything was gravity. Everything's just boom, just sat there.
In earthquake country.
Nothing's ever happened to it. Now, it's better to have straps. It's better to have bolts and epoxy and all thread. I'm just saying, at a limit, you got to stop.
Right.
But anyway, good for the house.
Yeah,
and good for the people of Mexico.
Yes. Well, swing in another direction, TLC doesn't exactly shy away from headline-grabbing shows, but one that's coming down the pike next month is taking a little bit of a hit. Per a press release, Hot and Heavy is a reality show coming out next year that shadows 3 men as they face judgment due to their mixed-weight relationship with plus-size women. And I do have the trailer. So first we have Joy and Chris.
Now, here's the good news. If you are hooked up,
mixed weight.
If you're hooked up with
save this one for Vinny.
With a plumper, it doesn't look great at the office Christmas party. I got you. She's over there. She's polished off the whole funnel cake to her head. Some of the coworkers with the wave models are looking at, but it does mean you have a big dick.
Oh, okay.
It does?
It does. It does.
For that garage.
If you're attracted, this is my black guy booty thing. I couldn't handle a Kardashian backing up to me. There's not enough there.
You'd never make the entry.
You're lost in that desert.
I tell you, I've said it. It's it would be parking a Miata in a blimp hangar. Just it's not. There's too much.
Throwing
you know what I mean?
Wrench on the floor of the tool shed.
Yes, you need the move. If you can do the move where you grab your base, and you still got enough to work with, then you can handle a big woman.
Boy, I'm a lucky fiance.
I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're not rich, and B, you got a big hog. Those are my 2 thoughts.
Well, that doesn't come up in the trailer. Oh. But at first there's Joy and Chris, and they want to advance their relationship, but a lot of their loved ones don't think that Joy can keep up with Chris's adventurous lifestyle. Kristen and Rusty...
I'm a free climber, fatty. Come on, chalk up.
There's some debate as to whether she needs bypass surgery to have a baby. And Adriana and Ricardo, who face constant taunting in public.
Constant taunting?
Well, you'll see a lot of good setups in the trailer. BuzzFeed notes there was an immediate backlash online when the show was announced, with complaints on everything from the show's title to the term mixed weight. And of course, they cast all the heavy cast members as women.
Lose the weight, chubby.
Here's a trailer. You can call your own out on this one.
All right. So
This season on Hot and Heavy.
Oh, they're big.
My mom told me that it would be difficult to find love. If
I'm already in.
I'm actually nervous.
Oh, man.
I
a water
always had this
displacement
idea
test.
that like I didn't deserve love because of what I looked like.
329.4.
I think every girl hopes they're going to get a hunky husband, so I totally hit the jackpot.
That's a game.
I absolutely love Kristen.
This thing is
I wouldn't
cooked.
mind if she was a little bit bigger.
What?
Adriana is the hottest woman I've ever seen in my life.
You look so manly.
How do I look?
You look amazing. I love every inch of joy. There's a lot of inches to love.
Guy's got a big dick. That's all I know.
We're just two people that are different sizes, and I don't feel like there should be a stigma behind it.
I don't know if that really happened right
Associate
then.
producer drove by in his own car.
Offended by us together seems to be conventionally attractive women.
I think they're just like, how
Jealous.
that big girl get that hunky guy? Maybe I just have a golden vagina.
Is it a sexual thing?
Saw Willy Wonka. I don't remember that part.
It's like very difficult.
He could get any girl that he wants, but he ends up being with Joy.
He's trying to persuade me to like someone more conventionally attractive.
All right.
If you want to chat.
Are you
What's
getting
the name
idea?
of the show?
It's called Hot and Heavy.
Hot and heavy. You know, I'll tell you why I like these shows.
I got thoughts.
Yeah,
I'll
Vinny
tell you
might
why.
have
I'll tell you why I like these shows. At some point, there's a couple of dudes. They were like going to USC film school. They were 21, 22. They were
Ambitious,
roommates.
yeah.
They kind of they're kind of good buddies, drinking buddies, going after girls and whatnot. At some point, they made it to their mid 40s. They lost touch, lost track of one another. At some point, they run into each other to Starbucks or Coffee Bean, and the one guy says, "Oh, hey Tim, what are you up to, man?" And the guy goes, "Oh, I'm working with Tarantino.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you call it punch up, but I
First
script-
AD, yeah.
yeah, I do script and set up a lot of stuff. So I've done this last 4 movies with him. What are you up to?"
Well,
I work.
I got a show on TLC.
That's right.
do it quite well myself.
That's the best part of this
That's
show.
why you want
They're
this
the
show to
best.
exist.
That's why I want, because there's got to be 3 or 4 dudes on that crew that were with 3 or 4 dudes when they're in their 20s.
Up and comers.
Yeah. That's how
Go different directions.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's
All
going to
right.
be good.
Well, that's 1 vote for yes. Vinny?
The show is completely cooked, and here's why. The guy that had the axe in his hand had just as much time with an axe as he's ever had with a vagina.
Yeah. That's right.
That's one theory.
And it seems like every person that was judging happened to be hot. Where are all these hot people in real life?
Yeah.
I lived in Hollywood for 30 years. I didn't see that many hot people in any single day. So everyone who was judging was judging. It was hot. Now,
Giving the looks of judgment. Yeah.
No, here's the problem. I work with morbidly obese people daily. I do these phone calls. I do the whole thing. I cry with these people. It's sad what they're going through. There's not one fat person that's in that kind of shape, 300-400 pounds, that wants to be there. And to sit around and glamorize it with this fake crap. To me, oh, look, it's okay. I got a golden vagina. Whee! I'm golden vagina.
Please get that drop.
Yeah. The bottom line is
out of my computer today.
We should not be glorifying this in this way.
Well, Vinny,
it's just we can't keep going in that direction.
I worry about what this is going to unleash in you. But big, heavy-set woman of color twerking at Laker game the other day.
Lizzo.
I've said this many times too. Look, we have sufficiently come down on smokers. It is unhealthy, and we judge, and never stop judging.
Nowhere near us.
Your kid's going to make it longer on a pack a day than they are at 400 pounds, and have a better a better life. Why the zero judgment now? Could we get on the same page judgment-wise? If we've decided
we will not.
We will not. But, I mean, the woman is 300 pounds. She's twerking. And everyone's like, woo, you go, girl. You go, girl. Like, all right, all we talk about is health care and the price of health care and what 20 years from now, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for this? Right. How's all this going to work?
We can't pay for it now.
Right.
We're in trouble. We're breaking under the weight of our own weight, and it's not getting better. We're just going in the opposite direction, and by glorifying it, we're doing it on steroids.
Simply
on steroids.
It's on steroids.
I agree. I know the Peloton chick caused a lot of controversy and made people upset. The Home Depot commercials this time of year, they're the most depressing ever.
Oh really?
They have there's the one they keep airing. The dude is asleep. His hot wife is feverishly scrolling through her phone looking for tool deals for her sleeping husband. Then she goes to the Home Depot, and there's a good-looking, helpful chick who's Johnny on the spot in the tool department. She's like, you want a half-inch chuck, 3/4, 3/8 chuck? We can handle it. And then she's like good-looking, and she's good-looking, and they're getting tools. And then they go back home, and the good-looking chick is proudly wrapping the cordless Makita drill she got. Wife. And I stare at that, and I go, Lynette would never do that, number one. And then at the end, when they go, it's only $99 and it comes with an extra battery. I'm like, my first cordless drill cost me $125 and it didn't even have a keyless chuck. It was junk. It was 9.6 volts, and that's like a 22 volt. And I start getting flustered and angry.
Yeah,
literally
angry all over again.
Yeah. Do we have that commercial, Max Pena? Look how happy. He's sleeping. He's happy. She's up. She's hot. She's looking for gifts.
Looking at ratings.
Now it's another good-looking chick helping her out at the store. Look how proud she is.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Only the good stuff.
Sorry.
She's doting.
It's very upsetting.
She's preening.
It's upsetting. Upsetting.
Yeah, well, we were talking about holiday drinks with Vinny, and I do like to see his head explode.
Well, what did we launch, Vinny? Can you get behind this?
Okay.
A lot of broads. They got upset over the Peloton thing. Like, how about the husbands? Yeah. What about this depiction? What about this? This is offensive. This is offensive to me.
Husband?
Yeah. So sleeping husband while you're shopping away.
He has to vlog for a year about how much he appreciates it.
Yeah. Okay.
What was wrong with what happened with Peloton?
Nothing. No. It's let's see. What did we decide? It was
oikophobia.
Oikophobia. We're out of problems. Ask Dr. Drew. We have no problems.
We shouldn't be exercising on a bike.
Okay. I don't know. We have a weird.
Just not in captivity by your husband.
Listen. Peloton commercial problematic. Fat chick twerking at Laker game. You go, girl. That's where we're at as a society. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Well, like its rival Coke, Pepsi is launching a new coffee-infused cola. It's called Pepsi Cafe, which also comes in vanilla flavor. It'll hit shelves throughout the United States in April. It's nearly twice as caffeinated as regular soda. Pepsi previously tried to get people on board with the coffee colas in the 90s with Pepsi Kona. I don't know if you remember that. It did not stick around.
Let me say this. You asked Dr. Drew, and you talk to him about nicotine or caffeine, and he'll go, it's the same thing. I mean, they're both just sort of harmless, whatever, the kind of. Why have we, I think Palo Alto's like outlawing vaping or something. Why have we simultaneously waged war on nicotine and zero caffeine thoughts? Like everything is we're going through the roof with caffeine, and all the parents are just sitting around going, yeah, have another Red Bull, son. But vaping, like, no, like it's weird. It's inconsistent. Is what
Agreed. And also, follow-up question for Vinny. I've often wondered this: why must we disclose everything on the back of food or drinks, for example? No caffeine, and there's never it has this much caffeine
because caffeine is not an issue. Caffeine is a zero.
But isn't that bizarre that you have to list how much caffeine is in something?
Well, because they only want
so much sugar, how much carbs, how much everything.
Right, they want the macronutrients, and it's all set up. It's only set up to lie to you because they figured out we could get people to look at this grid, and we can educate them the way we want them. It's all just a ruse. That grid means absolutely nothing. I've taught everyone who listens to this show, you read the other one, which shows the ingredients. And then people are starting to ask me online, why is it that on one side it says sugar, and when I look under sugar, it says 0? And I've explained that. The government, again, allows these companies to lie. If you have less than 0.5% of anything, you can say 0. That's why they have 5 or 6 different sugars, all at 0.5%.
That add up to.
And it adds up to a lot, but you can keep putting 0.
Right. It's crazy.
Right. And it's the same thing with caffeine. We don't care about it because it's just 0. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like nicotine. Nicotine is not the problem. It's the tar and everything else from the
that's
smoking.
what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
It's weird that we're against vaping when it's water vapor and something else. You know what's weird? It'd be interesting, as I was thinking about our government, like stuff they do well and stuff they don't do well. When it comes to automobiles, they're nuts. You got to, if you build a $2 million Bugatti, you got to crash test it. It's like you got to destroy it. And you're like, how many people are going to drive this car? No one's ever seen one.
Doesn't matter.
Tracy Morgan's the only person who has one.
Oh, but he crashed it.
He got crashed. He was fine. The point is this. All the crumple zones, what's coming out of the exhaust pipe, what's coming out of the steering wheel, the airbag, what's coming out, no exceptions. No exceptions, just all scrutiny. Scrutiny, and no lies. The mileage, the weight, the horsepower, everything on a piece of paper, and lemon laws, and car, and it's all consumer. Then you get to food, and it's like, fuck those guys. Yeah. Let them get fat and
dumb. Fatties, you get fat.
You know what I mean? Where's the protection? Where's if you take what goes into an automobile, there's 1,000 regulations involving safety and emissions and everything else. Nothing. But the food is just, we'll make up a fake pyramid that'll be the opposite of what the truth is, and we'll feed it to them.
It's called lobbies. Lobbies control. Sorry, Gina.
No,
I get it.
But to your point,
it's lobbies. It's whatever has the
PepsiCo
money
is not going to allow that.
I get it, but the automobile manufacturers have lobbies too. How is it they avoid? They see right through all that, and
because
then there's this.
You can show it. You can go, look what happened to little Bobby last year in this accident. Okay, we'll just change that. Yeah. And with the automobiles, they always give them a 5-year bump up. Hey, we want to be at 0 emissions by 2025.
Right.
These companies are working on it now because they don't want to wait until the last minute. And they know they can use it to sell more cars.
That's the whole thing. They have cafe standards. So your whole fleet's got to average 30 miles a gallon by the year 2023. They rules, progress.
But they make money on it. That's why. You see, you're thinking backwards. The car companies are making money on it. It used to be, what's the safest car when I was a kid? And everyone would just go, Volvo, because they were the only ones doing it. Now everyone got the safest car.
I had a sad conversation with my mom, which was a few years ago. She's like, we drive the Volvo because it's the safest car. And I'm like, yeah, except for your Volvo was built in 1973. So a Ford Fiesta.
We've passed it.
In the modern era is actually, it's true. When Crosby, Stills, and Nash were on top of the charts.
When Young was with them.
That was the best vehicle, but not when it's 23 years old. See? I did the math. Go ahead.
How did she take that?
John Bon
Jovi gave more to charity than you ever did.
She's not a fan of my pragmatism.
Yeah, no.
My unbridled pragmatism.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, they love.
Boy, is my mom the wrong mom for me. She is the worst.
Just learning this now.
I want to be pragmatic and talk about building and cars. Nothing.
Scones and Billy Jack. Well, Pepsi's R&D director called the recipe Cola Forward, with an authentic coffee flavor to finish. The vanilla flavor is designed to offer a milkier, more latte-like taste. Pepsi didn't disclose how much the product will cost, and I'm sure we'll get right on that come April.
Yeah, these kids are getting caffeinated, man.
It's sugared
big
up.
Time. I mean, Starbucks. Man, these kids get into that Starbucks early.
I would imagine.
I've never been a specialty coffee, specialty drink person, like latte, frappa, whatever's. Never appealed to me.
Look,
the blended coffee is good, but it's very sugary.
I want to say this to everybody, and I think people should figure this one out, which is the pumpkin spice latte, whatever, with the big dollop of whipped cream on it is delectable.
Of course.
And so is the donut that's sitting in the case. It's all good.
Right.
just keep walking. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know people do I like that. And I always want to say, I like it too.
Of course, debating its yumminess.
You know, there's nothing better than a milkshake. A good milkshake is fucking awesome.
Sure.
I mean, if Vinny said milkshakes, they're all right. And, have
Take
to
'em or leave 'em.
I would have milkshake every single day. I would have one every single day. They're delectable. Of
course.
I have 2 milkshakes every 11 years or something, you know? There's this sort of notion, I think, that people are like, well, you don't like milkshakes and you don't like donuts. You just want the coffee with the cream. And it's like, no.
Oh, not quite.
I would
like
order the second you did a move at a Starbucks where it was like, hey, you can get the pumpkin spice latte or you can get the black coffee. It's the same difference. I'd order it every single time. I feel like people that order it, they go, I like it, and that's why they order it, but they don't really get the part where we all like
Everybody
it.
likes
We just
it.
don't.
We all like it.
We don't do it.
There was a restaurant in Kansas City, I don't even know if it still exists, called Winstead's, because Kansas City is very famous for steak burgers, for whatever that means, instead of hamburgers. And they would have...
Is that literally a piece of steak between buns?
No.
Or
It
just
looks
it's
like a
ground
hamburger.
steak.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And they had the skyscraper milkshake. And we only got one if we were with like either, a big sleepover birthday party or, after a game or something that we'd always lose. And 10 kids with one of those perfect milkshake glasses, but 10 times the size of a regular one with 10 straws in it. There was nothing better. And I haven't had one since then.
That would never work in my world growing up because Ray would blow a snot rocket into the top of it,
Claim it his.
immediately and then
right.
take the whole thing.
That's right.
There's no question. It would be impossible for that not to work.
that
You
sucks.
might get a loogie, but you'd probably just get a quick snot rocket.
Whatever you had on hand.
Whatever's fastest.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. And that's the news.
I was thinking about tacos.